I'm still alive, and well, this isn't how we usually start videos. I don't mention this very often, but I've been a pretty avid Minecraft player for over 5 years now. And while I've beaten the game before in my survival worlds, I haven't ever attempted a genuine speedrun. I don't really have any time as a goal, I'm just genuinely curious how long it will take me to beat the game. So I started this run off pretty much the same way every Minecraft world starts. I punched a tree, mined some stone, and got a quick set of starter tools. Also, look at that quick crafting on the axe and shovel, looks like I'm a real speedrunner. Then I set off into the world. And I was mostly looking for either some kind of structure or a lava pool here. I ran around for a little bit and killed a few sheep to get food and wool for beds. Along the way, I grabbed some flint and coal for later in the run, and just under 7 minutes in, I found a lava pool. And right about here at 6:50 into the run, as I awkwardly chopped down a tree, is when the world record run has beaten Minecraft. Which is absolutely insane. But the silver medal's not bad, so let's keep going. So I dug around for a little bit to get enough iron for a bucket, flint and steel, and a shield, and I really hope you're not expecting me to build this nether portal with any amount of speed or style. I didn't want to mess this up, so I just built dirt pillars around the whole thing. After a quick 3 minutes, the nether portal was built and it was time to enter. And I was really hoping to just get lucky and immediately spawn next to a fortress, but no luck. I believe I spawned in between the sad remains of a warped forest and a basalt delta. It could be worse, but it's not great. Now, so far this has been a pretty typical bad Minecraft speedrun, but from here on out, this run sort of veers off course. So if you're not super familiar with Minecraft speedrunning, I went to the nether to get two things, ender pearls and blaze rods. Blaze rods you can only get from killing blazes at a nether fortress, and in a speedrun you'll typically get pearls from trading gold with piglins. And the way most speedrunners will accomplish the latter is to go to a bastion, get a bunch of gold, and trade with a big group of them. But I'll let you all in on a little secret. I don't trade with a single piglin in this entire run. Alright, let's move along. So after going forward in the delta a little bit, I gave up and realized it was a lost cause and decided to go the other way. And right about here is when I decided to try a strategy called E-raying. Basically, this is a technique where you zoom into a really specific area and wait for the E value, meaning entities, to go up like crazy. A super high entity count would mean a fortress or a bastion, both things that I'm looking for. But I'll be honest, I don't really know how to do it. I spent like a full 4 minutes trying to make it work before just giving up and going in the only real direction I could see more land. Along the way, I noticed a couple endermen, and I bravely dug into a hole where they could not hit me, and I murdered them both. Both dropped pearls, so I now had about 1/8 of the entire ender pearls I would need to comfortably complete the rest of the run. I still needed to traverse towards more open nether, so I set about on my journey after putting the 2 pearls safely in a chest. And as I was doing this, I noticed that throughout this entire area, there was like a bunch of endermen spawning, so I kept burrowing into little holes and killing them as I went. And right about here, as I killed my 7th enderman and got my 4th pearl, was when I completely gave up on the idea of trading altogether. It was going to be risky, luck-based, and very time-consuming, and this is a speedrun, folks. I've got a dragon to kill. I'm not going to waste my time dealing with the commerce of the nether. See, I just sort of slowly picked off endermen in this one little forest area, and by 45 minutes into the run, I had a total of 18 pearls, more than enough. I did put them back into my chest to be safe though, because I did not feel like losing all of my progress. It's worth mentioning that going in, I thought I could do this in about 90 minutes, so I was pretty happy with my performance at this point. If there was a fortress somewhat close by, we could be done in the next half hour. Oh, how naive I was. So I got about 100 blocks into the nether before realizing I had run out of food. So I had to run back and get what I thought at the time was more than enough. I mean, 2 chicken, 8 mutton, 3 pork chops, and an apple, now that's a feast. I delved deeper into the nether, hoping that my hodgepodge trail of cobblestone and netherrack would be enough to find my way home. After a daring duel with a skeleton, I saw a glimpse of nether brick and enter the fortress. I would also like to point out that at this point I had neither fire resistance nor a bow, so killing these blazes was going to be difficult. I found the spawner pretty quickly and built myself a nice home to come back to in case the new kids were mean to me. And mean they were. It took just 3 minutes for the blazes to have hit me enough times to go through all of my food. What happened to my great feast? So with 9.5 hearts, no food, and 6 blaze rods, I had a choice to make. 6 blaze rods theoretically was enough to leave, but I don't know how to triangulate strongholds, and 12 blaze powder is just barely enough. Realistically, I wanted 8 blaze rods before I left, but I also had somewhere around 1,000 blocks to go to get back home. But being stubborn and a bit stupid, I decided to stay and try to get 2 more rods. And through some extremely cowardly axe hits, I managed to make it out a few minutes later, only having been hit once. So now I had to find my way home with 5 hearts and 8 hunger bars that were rapidly dropping. And I got about halfway before my hunger dropped to 3 bars and I could no longer sprint. But then I did the second smartest thing I'll do this entire video. I picked up a red mushroom. See, I already had a couple brown mushrooms from the fortress, and with a bowl and these mushrooms, I could make mushroom stew. It was just enough to get me up to 9 hunger bars, and in addition to being able to sprint, I also got back to full health. After a lot more meandering, I made it back to my portal alive and well. I grabbed a bit more food, and now it was time to head to the dragon. I had the ender pearls and blaze rods, now I just had to find the stronghold and kill the dragon. How hard could it be? Along the way, I grabbed some more mushrooms and some dandelions to make suspicious stew with the saturation effect, which is some of the best food in the game. Then eventually, my eye of ender pointed downward, and I knew I had found the stronghold. Now you might be thinking, where does all the time left left in the run come from? It only took 15 minutes to find the stronghold. How is there still nearly half the run left? Well, dear viewer, I skipped one important step between finding the stronghold and killing the dragon. Finding the portal room. You see, strongholds are like mazes, and mine happened to spawn through a cave system and a mine shaft. So how long did it take me to find the room? 55 minutes. 55 whole minutes of my life that I spent wandering around this stupid structure, steadily going insane. At this point, it was like midnight and I was starting to get so genuinely upset. I legitimately thought about checking the seed and faking it. I thought about scrapping this whole video, and I even thought about flying to Stockholm and begging Jeb for help. It was genuinely one of the worst gaming experiences of my entire life. Like, I don't know how to articulate how long it is to spend 55 minutes doing the exact same thing and feeling like you are making no progress while you are supposed to be going fast. It took a full 40 minutes of this before I actually did something smart. I mentioned earlier that the second smartest thing I did in this run was getting the mushroom stew. Well, this is the smartest thing. So 1.16, which is the version I'm playing here, is also probably the version I played the most. I played an entire SMP on this version without upgrading for like a year, so I think I know the mechanics pretty well. And I remembered that there was a glitch in this version where if you got into a composter and pushed yourself with a piston, you could see through some blocks. Is it technically a glitch? Yes. Would it disqualify me from the glitchless category? Probably. Do I regret doing this? Not even a little bit. I was about ready to uninstall Minecraft and never play again at this point. So I set up the glitch as best I remembered with no real idea if it would work. But it did. I couldn't see everything and my view was pretty limited, but for the first time in 40 minutes, I had hope. I ended up setting this up probably around a dozen times at various points in the stronghold before I eventually saw it. At last, my miserable nightmare was over. I was so excited that I rushed over to the portal room, set my spawn, and jumped into the end. And right about then, I realized that I did not have a bow. And again, if you don't know Minecraft that well, the dragon has like 10 towers with crystals at the top that it heals from. You can break them, but they're up high, and with a dragon flying around, a bow is usually recommended. So I sort of resigned myself to climbing each tower, and I broke the first crystal. I got the second one as well without too much trouble, but then the dragon hit me with a blast, so I had to pearl to the ground, but by then I had lost too much health and I got my first death of the run. But fortunately I had set my spawn, so I jumped right back in. And I'll spare you the next 10 minutes because it gets sort of repetitive. It's just me slowly building up to these crystals and breaking them. Oh, and dying. Lots of dying. I died 1, 2, 3, 4 times before I had gotten all the crystals. But then it became a fair fight. The dragon perched and I used 2 of my beds to get rid of about half of its health, which from other speedruns I've seen is actually not bad. 2 beds to half kill the dragon is pretty good, I think, maybe, I don't know that much. It flew away for a little bit after that, but then when the dragon returned, I got it down low with my third and final bed, and on the third perch, I did it. I got the last few axe hits, and it was finally dead. The animation finished, and a moment later, I jumped in the exit portal, and I had done it. 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 38 seconds. That is my final time. And it's just barely second place on the leaderboard. No, but in all seriousness, I think I possibly could have gotten under 2 hours if I had not gotten so unlucky with the stronghold, and I had actually thought to bring a bow to the end. But yeah, here's the seed if you want to check out this world for yourself. I'll put the link to this full run unedited in the description, although it might not be there if you're watching this when the video comes out because it is 8:02 a.m. as I am recording this and I need to post this video by 9. But that is it for today. Thank you for watching this very different kind of video, and Nate, I'll see you tomorrow.